Hello and welcome back to Alex Goes Sailing. Right, I'm currently in the electronic station and you can see I have the new panel fitted up, and as you can see it's raised off. What I've done is 3D printed this little surround. One, it gives more space on the back end, and two, it makes it a bit easier to hide that dodgy cutting. So it should do the trick, and you can see how tight it is behind there. There's barely any room, and you've got a bundle of cable, so it's going to give me, well, a centimetre of extra space, which is nice. But what I've done is, because I've got this shape, I've drilled out the holes for the one that's going here. Just going to remove this silly hole that I got put in just to run a cable out the front here, up there, and then back through that corner where it could just been run behind. But for mounting, I've oversized these holes, and I'm using this. And you can see there's a threaded end. Think of like a pop rivet gun. It's kind of like that, but what you use is these stainless steel like rivets. They're called riv nuts, and they got a thread inside, so you can use a bolt. Before they were held in with screws, or like the old one was held in with screws, and into fiberglass it just stripped itself, so it doesn't really work. But at least with this, if you ever have a problem, you just change out this, although it should last a long time being stainless steel. All you got to do is pop rivet them in, and that's what I'm going to do. Then once that's done, I'm going to take that hole, I'm going to take the surround, hold it up, and then I can use that inner edge to cut out with the multi-tool the exact hole that I need to make. So now that I've done this one, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this one. Right, so I put two in. I'll just take the bolt that we're going to use. So that's threaded in, nice and solid, giving that a solid tug, not going anywhere. Right, so let's cut the hole out for that one. Right, so the two switch panels are fitted. You can see I've also removed the stickers off of this one because I'll be putting new ones on. Still got to replace this one broken one, but I might get a smaller size because at the minute they're all 15 amp, and that's quite a bit of power, especially for just lights. But on this side I've moved the positive power like jumper to the top side, just because of the wire runs in there. I want to keep it nice and easy and free. So that's quite simple, and then that just slots in. You've got to kind of tilt it up and then it goes in. The bolts will just bolt through like on this one, nice and solid. That one's a little bit underneath the shelf, but I'm planning for that one to have all the lights on, and this one all of the like chart pottery, tiller pilot, fridges, toilet power and things like that, all hooked up to here. And if that works well, then perfect. So I've got the lithium battery in here, and it's off Meraki. The whole plan with this battery was to move it to the next boat and the next boat, and yeah, this is what I'm doing. So this fits quite nicely, height wise, very good. I can lay it on its side and stuff. I'm going to try and like angle it back into that corner. I've also been looking at this battery selector off 1, 2 and both, and you can see, oh, there goes some of the screws. So on here you can actually see the big terminals coming in. That was for battery 1 and 2. This big power runs off to the outboard itself, so that powers the outboard starting, and then that very, very small one was what did run to the solar panels, and then that other small one runs up through this fuse and then out, and that's what actually powered the original switch. So I'm going to be able to use that one, jump it through. But for now I'm going to get started with wiring in these switch panels I will be changing the autopilot wire because it's not quite long enough for where I want it to go, but that's easy enough. I'm just going to find a longer length, connect it through there and just put it through, and that's easy. But with all these wires I will be changing every single end, and you can kind of see the connectors they had before. What I've got over here is I've got all of the connectors that I should need. So when I actually wire these in, I'm actually going to remove that plastic shielding because it's just hard plastic, it doesn't really protect anything, and I'm going to use these heat shrinks, slide it right over and have a nice neat finish. Also allows it to be a bit more flexible when you're trying to connect them up, which is nice. I'll also be using the label maker to organize it all back there so we can make sense of it, although most of it's labeled now, but I just want to make sure it's very clear what's what. So yeah, I'm going to get started and put a time lapse going. Would you look at that, finally installed. We can hook it up and see if it'll work. What I've done is I ran these jumper cables round, done one, so that's negative, and those will jump onto that panel, and then this panel will be jumped down to the battery. So strings along, keeps it nice and simple, so I don't have to run like 2 cables from the battery to there. So all I have to do now is hook up the stuff on this panel. So what we've got is plotter power, so those need connectors putting on. This is the tiller pilot power coming down the back. Yeah, definitely need to extend that because it's not going to get quite far enough. What else we've got? We've got a ground, so this is grounding for all of the mast lights, so that needs grounding. And what I've done is I've laid out what's what over here so I don't get completely confused. So all of this we've done on this side, and then this is what I've got to do. So we have the plotter hookup, we have VHF power, we have autopilot. We don't have any of these 3 along here yet, but for now I can hook up the electronics, the VHF and autopilot, and then that'll be everything for now. And then it's just a case of plumbing it into the battery and dealing with how the outboard gets its power and bits like that. So immediately looking much tidier. And I've also been using the zip tie mounts that are stuck here. Very useful. I've left them loose at a minute because I might feed more wires through for like the fridge and things. I might want to change how things are routed around, but very handy to have, and it's going to keep it nice and neat. And then once I've done that, I'm tempted to give it a bit of a paint, or at least a clean up inside of here. Right, before I worry about this panel, I'm actually going to test this one out, and I'm just going to jump the cables over to the battery with some jumper leads that I have here, make sure they don't touch. And we'll see if the panel illuminates, because like you should get illuminations here, and when I switch the switches on, these lights should come on. Right, it's the moment of truth. I'm going to hook this up and see if it comes on over here. 3, 2, 1, power! Look at that. So we're still got to put the covers on saying what's what, but I don't know what this is. Hang on, let's figure out what's what. So I think the easiest one to test will be the cabin lights. So that's the only one with the broken switch. Okay, well, we'll have to get that done, but if I jam my finger in there, let's see if it comes on. Oh, it flashed on. I didn't quite get it on. There we go. That one there. That one there. And let's go right the way up the front. Not this one. Ah, yes, this one. so they'll work. And then a quick check on the phone, and it doesn't even reach the amount of amps needed to show up, which I think is like 4 amps or something. And considering this is the only traditional bulb, all the rest are like LEDs, so that's quite nice. But I will try to get a better reading just so I know how much power I'm going to use for each item that's going to be on my switchboard. And I also need to charge up this battery, it looks like 36%. Right, so I have the second panel. I've connected up the indicators that just come loose, put crimped ends and connect them to the ground and powers there and there. And yeah, we're going to hook up all of this stuff. I've also got the power from the battery and then the ground from the battery. We're going to hook that up. Everything's disconnected so it's safe. So I'm going to get connecting all of this stuff up. Got all of that wired in, got the power hooked up. You've got the battery switch here. I've connected up the battery. Let's lift this panel up into place. Let's see, so position 2 we want. 3, 2, 1, boom. Would you look at that? And then, so we've got the main lights, they work, and see the little orange indicator that comes on. What else we got? What can we try? VHF, we haven't tried that yet. So the VHF was this one here. Oh, there's light. I see light. I can't. Yeah. There's light on there. That's good that that works. So flick that off. Right, it's time to put some stickers on these switches. Right, first time putting these little stickers on, and you can see on here that I can actually stick my finger in there. So it just sits on this lip around the outside. They seem to be quite strongish stickers, and they seem to work quite well on the old ones. So I guess just peel it off. So I'm just peeling off the back of the sticker. Now, he's trying to line it perfectly. Can't be having it crooked now. Oh. Is that on? That looks good to me. Oh, it feels so small on the lip, but I mean, look at that. That's all the stickers put on. As you can see, they aren't, well, to me they aren't crazy bright. They're not like emitting any light into the cabin at all, but they're very readable in the dark, which is nice to see. So you can see we've got tricolor light, anchor light, foredeck light. Over here we've got running light, compass light, and the main cabin lights. Then over here it's electronics, VHF, and autopilot. Then accessory, which is going to be like USBs and 12-volt stuff, and then the fridge, and then macerator pump. So overall pretty good. Let's turn on the main light so we can see. But overall I think it's very smart, and that 3D printed backplate that I made for each one actually gave it enough space behind and made it much easier fitting in all the wires at the back. It makes them look quite smart. So I'm quite happy. I did run a test with this battery and the outboard, and for the tilting it uses about 7 amps, which is fine. I tried starting the outboard and it draws about 60 to 70 amps, which is fine. And this is rated for 150 amps before it hits its protection. I'll see how fitting that thing in goes, because that's going to go in here somewhere. I want to maximize my room and reduce my weight. So that's it for this episode. In the next one, I will be installing some phone chargers that can actually charge at a decent rate. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.